We learned some major, scary legal news this week, Brian. President Trump finally managed to bully the Department of Justice into prosecuting his political enemies, starting with former FBI Director Jim Comey. Comey's indictment comes after Trump berated Attorney General Pam Bondi on social media for not punishing his enemies fast enough, and he pushed out the U.S. Attorney for the Eastern District of Virginia and installed his former personal attorney in that role. Trump was asked about all of this on Friday. Here's what he said.
Is this more about justice or is it about revenge?
It's about justice, really. It's not revenge. It's about justice. It's also about the fact that you can't let this go on. They are sick, radical left people.
Now that James Comey has been indicted, who is the next person on your list in this retribution?
It's not a list, but I think there'll be others. I mean, they're corrupt. These were corrupt, radical left Democrats, because Comey essentially was he was worse than a Democrat. I would say the Democrats are better than Comey.
Sounds like it's about justice and revenge to both hands.
He's like, there's definitely no list, but there are other people whose names might be on a loose collection that I have where we go down a list of some sort.
Look, there's not a list, but there's a bunch of names on a piece of paper,
in
and we're
alphabetical
going to work
order
through them. Yeah. Later he says, "Frankly, I hope there are others."
Yeah.
We're laughing about this, but this seems really bad, Brian.
Yeah, this is like through the looking glass, beyond the Rubicon. I mean, this is not only the thing that Republicans themselves claimed that they were up in arms about that Democrats were doing,
right.
And there's no evidence of doing that. My God, imagine a scenario where Merrick Garland actually did put optics aside and seek justice without fear or favor against any Republicans. But that notwithstanding, the reality is that Trump is using the federal government to just go after anybody who he deems his own enemy. He's threatened this against Letitia James, doing it right now against James Comey. We've seen him use the powers that he has to try and quash dissent, first against Stephen Colbert, then against Jimmy Kimmel. Thank God there was this boycott that actually enabled Disney to roll it back because they saw that there were financial consequences that weren't just at the hands of Donald Trump. We've seen him sue the New York Times, ABC News, CBS, 60 Minutes, Simon & Schuster. And so anything he can do...
A random pollster in Iowa.
Yeah, and Seltzer. Anything he can do to wield the powers of the federal government against anybody who he deems his political opponents, he's doing it. He's doing it against universities. He's doing it against law firms. He's doing it against media outlets. He's doing it against politicians. And now the latest iteration of this is this executive order that he signed designating Antifa a terrorist organization. And so a lot of people are pointing to that and saying, well, this is pretty toothless because Antifa isn't a real thing. But that's the point. The point is that he created this amorphous concept and claims and can then turn around and claim that anybody who's part of Antifa, because there's no actual thing, that anybody can be part of Antifa, and then they can get all caught up in that kind of, again, dragnet.
You should probably take Antifa off your LinkedIn.
I just can't because it gets garners a lot of attention.
You forgot your password.
I
you need to update the thing. Yeah, so at issue here is the allegation that Jim Comey lied to Congress. Remember, the underlying case is about whether Jim Comey authorized anyone at DOJ or the FBI to talk to the media about cases related to Trump or Clinton. This was all around the Russia probe stuff. Republicans are saying Comey did authorize a leak and that he lied to Congress when he said he had not. But there's seemingly a big problem with that argument, which is that this false statement charge is based on Comey's response to Ted Cruz's summary of what Andy McCabe, the former deputy director of the FBI, said to Congress. And I've seen a number of legal experts say that Cruz's summary was imprecise, if not wrong, and that, in fact, McCabe told Comey that he, Andy McCabe, had authorized someone to speak to the media after it had already happened. So I don't know how Jim Comey could authorize something that had already happened. Seems like a bit of a hole in the case. Maybe that's why none of the career prosecutors actually wanted to seek an indictment. But I guess we'll find out. But this is, no one likes Jim Comey. He's super annoying. I blame him for the 2016 election. But Trump going after his political opponents in an overt way like this should terrify everyone. And he does have a list. And there's a bunch of other groups that are coming next.
Right. I think it's interesting, too, that he continues to find these people who are perfectly content to carry water for him, to do his bidding. He appointed the initial U.S. attorney in the Eastern District of Virginia who refused to go after Letitia James for
5 months ago.
Right, 5 months ago, for non-existent mortgage fraud, and came out publicly basically cutting out his own legs from beneath him by saying that we need to go after Letitia James. We need to go after these people because they're guilty. And so now you have basically the person and you're just in search of the crime. And that undermines all of their cases when they actually get these things into the courtroom. But for the Trump administration, it's not about that. Like, they don't care about the end result. They care about the fact that they get the optics, they get the narrative, they get to make these people's lives miserable. Mm-hmm. They know it's going to be expensive. Mm-hmm. They know it's going to take a lot of resources. They know that they're going to destroy their reputations. And maybe, depending on what judge they get in front of, it could actually play itself out where these people are prosecuted, are incarcerated at the end. And that would be a cherry on top for them. But really the goal here is just to destroy these people using every lever of the federal government that they have at their disposal.
And scare anybody else who might,
Correct.
fight against Donald Trump's agenda. Also, the New York Times reported that senior DOJ officials have instructed more than half a dozen U.S. attorneys' offices to make plans to investigate the Open Society Foundations, which is a nonprofit founded by George Soros. According to the Times, possible charges prosecutors could file ranging from arson to material support of terrorism. So those are serious charges that would bring some serious jail time. CNN also reported that DOJ officials are also pushing for John Bolton to be charged. John Bolton was Trump's national security advisor in the first term. And there's some reporting in this CNN piece that some at DOJ view the Bolton case as a way to placate the president. I've not seen any evidence that Trump feels placated.
No, you don't think just throw him a little tiny bone and he's good and he's completely satisfied?
Look at the ABC, right? Like they cut like a $16 million check over a ridiculous lawsuit, and now Trump is still going after Jimmy Kimmel and recently said he's going to sue him again.
Right, and he actually goes out and mocks. Like you don't gain his respect, and you certainly don't. He doesn't view you as some legitimate negotiating partner. He loses all respect for you. When you enter into some agreement with Donald Trump, you're not doing it from a position of strength. You are viewed as weak in his eyes, and then he knows that it's going to be that much easier to go after you again, and it's going to happen again. And he said that exact thing as it relates to ABC. He said, they paid me $16 million last time. This is an even better case. Let's see how I do now. And so it's not like you're gonna win him over. It's not like you're gonna placate him. You're not gonna satisfy him. You just show him that he can exploit you, and it's going to be easy to do it the first time and that much easier to do it the second time.
And this time, he has in place people who owe their entire political careers to him.
And in large part, have no political career without him.
Right.
Because when you have these prosecutors who are otherwise unemployable because they are so willing to abuse the law in deference to Trump and in deference to the MAGA movement, like there is no world where any legitimate firm hire some of these people who've completely just sullied their reputations and in many cases have lost their law licenses.
Well, yeah. And so the person who Trump installed to prosecute Jim Comey was his former personal attorney who has no prosecutorial experience.
Yeah.
But I'm thinking even higher than that. Like Pam Bondi has no business being the attorney general. Kash Patel, no business being the director of the FBI. And the only way those two keep their jobs is when they do Trump's bidding, which means there's just absolutely no independence, top to bottom at DOJ. It is just another political weapon. So scary stuff for all of us. Liberal Tears is brought to you by PDS Debt. The system isn't broken, it's rigged. And if you're buried in debt, that's exactly how they want it. Big banks profit when you're desperate. Creditors win when you lose, but you don't have to play their game. PDS Debt helps you take back control. They've helped hundreds of thousands break free from credit cards, loans. It's your money, it's your future. Time to fight for both. PDS Debt goes beyond the numbers to understand your unique financial situation and craft a personalized plan designed just for you. There's no minimum credit score required. They're here to help you save more, pay off your debt faster, and start putting money back where it belongs, in your pocket. PDS Debt is A+ rated by the Better Business Bureau, boasts thousands of 5-star reviews on Google, and holds a 5-star rating on Trustpilot. Why? Because PDS Debt has helped hundreds of thousands of people get out of debt. Everyone has had that horrible experience where you overdraw your account or your credit card bill comes in and it's so big you wonder, I don't know if I can ever pay this thing off. PDS Debt can help you in that moment to figure out a plan to pay down your debt and live free again. You're 30 seconds away from being debt-free. Get your free assessment and find the best option for you right now at pdsdebt.com/rank. That's pdsdebt.com/rank. pdsdebt.com/rank. The Comey stuff, that wasn't the only big legal news this week. There was also this.
Well, there better be accountability for those people, and I will personally see to it, Jesse.
Good. And, the president being frozen there in one place makes him vulnerable.
And thankfully, the First Lady and the president had their hands on the rails.
Why are we paying for a building that's just trying to injure the First Lady? What we need to do is either leave the UN or we need to bomb it.
Tommy, somebody should introduce these Republicans to Mitch Hedberg. He's like an old school comedian, and he had a joke that goes, an escalator can't break, it can just become stairs. We apologize for the convenience. We're sorry for the fact that you can still get up there. It's like, if an escalator stops, it becomes stairs. It's actually quite a convenient malfunction.
They act like he just walked into like an ambush in Afghanistan or something, like he was in a war zone.
Yeah.
Dude, you're in the UN. Apparently, it sounds like the escalator may have paused because his own videographer like touched the button or something like that.
And like caught and set off some safety protocol that forces it to stop. Yeah.
But like Trump referred to it as triple sabotage.
What's the triple part of it?
His teleprompter stopped working or didn't work at the beginning of his UN General Assembly speech. Now, I know from my experience at the White House that the UN doesn't control the teleprompter. Everywhere the President of the United States goes, the White House military office controls the teleprompter. Of course, your own staff
so
will
that
be in charge of that.
So that you can't just add in something at the last minute that could spark off some nuclear war.
You wouldn't let some random newbie person who doesn't work for you run the teleprompter. So that's crazy. And then he complained that the audio wasn't on in the UN General Assembly room. I don't know what he's talking about there. Maybe that's the case. Who knows? And then he was complaining about something that I did notice when I was watching, which is all of a sudden this translation voice comes in and just starts speaking Portuguese, like sort of half over, which was very weird and funny. But I assume it was just kind of like an error.
Yeah.
Assault.
No, I mean, it does.
Secret Service investigating.
The best part, I mean, it really does go to show that the only place that MAGA world is comfortable is in the fetal position, because this guy, again, he is at the UN as the president of the United States. He has full control of the U.S. government. He's usurped control of the entire government.
Yeah.
The Republicans have control of Congress, of the House, of the Senate, of the Supreme Court, of the majority of state legislatures in this country. There is really nothing to complain about if you're a member of the Republican Party. And yet here, they're just so desperate to find any grievance, to find some way to frame yourself as the victim, that if an elevator temporarily becomes stairs...
Escalator
temporarily becomes stairs, then it's a 2-day story on Fox.
Well, Secret Service, they're investigating. We're going to find out. We're going to prosecute someone. I asked John Ossoff yesterday if he would consider passing a law making it a felony to temporarily turn off an escalator. He said he'd get back to me.
Was he amenable, do you think?
No.
Well,
he's very tall, though. He's quite tall.
Yeah, he's young.
He's a good-looking guy.
Yeah.
Lastly, Brian, I've noticed that your mentor in the political media world is rocking a new look. Let's just check it out and learn why.
I'm so afraid to see.
Please leave the mics open during this. Thank you.
Oh, my God.
I've been just kind of experimenting.
Is that a Charlie Chaplin
Who's the Marvel
sketch,
comic guy that has the knives that comes out of his hand?
Is that
like a wolf or
H guy?
Wolverine, yeah.
Can't be a Hitler stash,
So I
right?
figured I'd shave down and Mushu, the ragdoll cat, jumps up in between me, give me a kiss, hits it, and he goes right down. I was like, oh my God. So I go, well, I got to cut my beard off. So that's how this happens. I may keep this for 6 months, actually, because I'm already the devil. I'm already Satan. I'm already all these things I never did. I don't think Hitler is the worst totalitarian in history, but he's right up there in the top 3 or 4.
You just have to add that in for the lawyers at the end. This is like, when you're a kid or older than a kid, I guess, if you're shaving your facial hair down, but you work your way down. You're like, what if I had a goatee, and then what if I had a mustache, and then what if I had?
I actually can't relate to that at all, but I'm sure I believe you that it happens.
I'm not.
I can't grow anything. It's terrible.
Tommy, when you have like a real thick beard, you know what I'm talking about?
Like a baby's ass for days.
Well, this is what usually happens when you're like 16 years old and not a grown ass.
Oh, this is what happened. This is how you get a Hitler stash. Your cat jumps up on you and somehow moves the razor blade to ruin anything, and then you think, I'm just gonna keep a Hitler stash.
He's like, I was walking through my house and my cat kept running under my legs, and I had no choice but to goose step to avoid my cat.
This guy, man. I don't know.
I don't know if it was there was a tweet that he posted where he was like, this is to own the libs, and in so many words. But that tweet is only the context for the picture in that particular tweet. Otherwise, you just have a picture of yourself with a Hitler stash floating around the internet forever.
Or you just have a Hitler stash. He said he's going to keep it for 6 months. So it's like you can own the libs in your little crazy online world, but like you have to go to the grocery store. You know what I mean? You're going to church. You're doing all the things you do in life with a Hitler stash.
Although in his defense, I don't know how many people are going to be like, wait a minute, this isn't the Alex Jones that I know.
Not the Alex I know.
Yeah.
He said, you'll be shocked to learn that we cut that down a lot. That man stretches.
I'm not shocked to learn that much.
That guy stretches like a very small anecdote into like 30 minutes of content. But he said, I think he had a wider mustache, and then his personal trainer told him he looked like a pedophile. So we cut it down.
He's like, I'll do you one better. How about I look like a genocidal maniac? How about I look like the most hated man in the history of the world?
Just what is the liberal equivalent of like doing something to own the libs? Like,
it would be Alex Jones shaving a Hitler mustache onto his face for 6 months.
I feel so owned. Anyway, I'm sorry you two had a falling out. I hope you guys kind of patch it up.
Yeah, we'll figure it out.
But thanks for watching. This, whatever this was, Liberal Tears.
Very important for everybody who's watching now. If you are not yet subscribed to this YouTube channel, please
to Brian's YouTube channel.
And to my YouTube channel, please help elevate the voices of progressive media. We are trying to make sure that we contend with the massive disinformation machine that has sprouted up on the right, and that's been very well resourced for years and years and years. So it doesn't cost you anything to subscribe.
It's
Great
free.
way to support our work.
We will not bow to Brendan Carr. We will not shave Hitler mustaches.
And we will not be appearing at the Riyadh Comedy Festival.
I didn't tell you that I got an invite to that.
Are you going?
Yeah, it's going to be sick.
That's awesome. Get your bag,
Just
dude.
kidding, everybody. Subscribe.